Today, skipping school is what we're focusing on to begin with and working out where it takes us. Ham, you have skipped school. I mean, I reckon you skipped in high school as well.
Yeah, did I? I don't. It just seemed back in my day of growing up, the concept of not going to school and getting away with it seemed ludicrous. And this is before mobile phones. We had a lot of people contacting us going, it's really hard to skip these days because everyone has mobiles.
Yeah,
so,
right.
like, our parents didn't have mobiles back when we were at school. But nowadays, it's just like your mum gets a text straight away. Where's Andy?
To be honest, it was fear that stopped us.
Complete fear.
Yeah.
And you look at the primary school. The amazing thing about the primary school fence is I look at fences around primary schools now and I go, how did one fence have instill so much fear in us? It's just like there was no question you would leave that fence, even though that was the same fence you walked out of at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is fine. The outside world exists. But before 3:30, forget about it.
Exactly. It was like, I mean, not to say that you're prisoners if you're at school, but
Kind of.
obviously you get yard time and then you get to leave at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we were
You're
just we were pumping
If a
weights.
ball went over-
We were, we had to form our own gangs to survive.
Yeah.
And, some of us got shivved and others were able to go to food tech.
Exactly. But you're right. If a ball went over the fence,
That's dead to you.
I mean, you
You might as well have kicked it off the edge of the earth in the year 1400. There's nothing beyond that boundary. How's this though? So back at primary school, we had to take, or I was enrolled in Japanese as an elective.
Oh, wow.
Because I think in the 90s we were like, oh, Japan, China, Japan. I think Japan's going to get it.
yeah, exactly.
We picked Japan accidentally. So, not saying it's not doing well, but I
Yeah.
think we all agree that
Bit of
China
China.
will be our lord and master within a matter of minutes.
They do have a Japan covered at least.
Yeah, so we decided to do Japan. I hated Japanese, couldn't get my head around it, didn't enjoy it at all. And again, but had a huge fear and respect of, like, you can't leave. I convinced myself at lunchtime, and I like at primary school, you could wear tracksuits, but I would often wear school shoes with a tracksuit because I think it was just, that's what I was forced to do for whatever reason. But it was a hot day. And I remember at lunchtime, I was like, man, my feet are getting pretty hot.
Yeah.
Like running around.
I'm running around.
I'm running around on the asphalt.
Yeah.
I'm playing some basketball. Man, I've got hot feet.
So,
I really worked this up into quite
Yeah.
a critical situation in my head. I was like, my feet are so hot. My dogs are barking, and I don't know how to quiet them down. And I was like, I honestly don't think I can go on today with such hot feet.
yeah, of course.
So, just like someone in hospital, I checked myself out of school. Obviously, I knew I didn't want to go to Japanese, but I could. My
that was
internal
for-
monologue was going, look, I know I'm getting out of Japanese here, which is a huge plus, but these feet are cooking. So I
very hot.
I walked home.
On those hot feet.
And the further I walked home, and we lived about a 20-minute walk from school up quite a long hill. Yeah. And I'm rehearsing in my head what I'm going to say to Mum when I walk through the door at like 2 p.m. on a school day in year 5. I'm a little 10-year-old going to, I'll explain to her about the hot feet.
And she'll be really understanding.
Just how serious it is, because it
she'll
felt like
bring
a
out
very
an ice bucket.
felt like a really adult problem as well. Like, Mum would go, oh, hot feet. Well, that happens, honey. You're growing up. Sometimes your feet will get too warm for school. But as I'm walking up the hill, I realise I shouldn't be able to do this if I was in so much pain that my feet were so hot that I couldn't get up
walk
the
home,
hill.
of course.
I still made it home, but my confidence diminished so much that when I walked in the front door, Mum went, what are you doing home? Really hot. When I said the sentence, I've really hot feet.
I've got really hot feet, yeah.
It did not stack up the way I'd thought it would when I was rehearsing it on the way home. They just put me in the car and drove me back
Hot shoe shuffled you straight back
straight
down.
back to school. And then then the principal actually took the Japanese class, and then Mum arrived at the door with me. Yeah. And I remember hearing them talking about, he came into the hallway, Mum explained to him why
Well, you did have hot feet.
I checked myself out of school, and I remember the principal sort of saying, in
the asphalt
hindsight,
is
in hindsight, it's the first time I'd ever heard a very patronising adult.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh yeah, well you gotta keep those feet, you gotta keep those feet cool." And at the time, I remember thinking, "Oh yeah, they get it." But now looking back on it, they were just having a huge laugh about this massive wuss that couldn't stand hot feet.